Hello, ladies, and well, the few gentlemen that do come on here. Hello and welcome to Cocktails with BT. This is season 2, episode. What are we in now? I believe it's episode 3, and or episode 5. I've even lost track, but I am just so excited because I'm sitting today in the studio with a woman that I really admire. Remember, I told you that I'm bringing women that I love, women I admire, women I honor in this season, and we're just going to be having conversations across a whole host of things. Now, my guest today is a beauty entrepreneur. She's a women's empowerment advocate. She's a speaker. She's a business and life coach, and she just does so many things. She is the founder of the Unmask Your Beauty movement. She's the founder of Adedoyin, which is this whole beauty industry, right? Which she does. And you can see, well, when you look at her, you'd see that she's right in the midst of this whole beauty movement, right? And that is what she does. And that's who she is at her very core. And she's just a fantastic all-round woman who I really genuinely admire. And I'm really excited to be having this conversation with her today. So ladies and a few gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Adedoyin Omotara. Hello.
Thank you. Thank you for having me, Bodam. The feeling is mutual. I really do admire you. You inspire me, all of the things that you do. You really inspire me. And I always try as much as possible I'm on your email list. I try as much as possible to come in for your master classes and things. But yeah, you're doing amazing. And I'm so proud to know you.
Thank you. Thank you. The feeling, as you obviously know, is mutual. And thank you for saying yes and for giving me some of your time this wonderful. Well, we're recording in the evening on my end, and I think late afternoon your end, or afternoon your end.
Morning, actually.
Oh, it's morning. Oh my God.
God.
Fantastic. So for those who don't know, Adedoyin is based in Canada, right? I was about to say the city, but I didn't want to get it wrong. Where is it now?
Calgary. I'm in Calgary.
Calgary, exactly.
Calgary, yeah.
Okay, fantastic. So let's delve right into it. Adedoyin, you're this wonderful visionary woman that's firing on all fours. For those who don't know, she was recently honored as one of 12 honorees in the Future Forward Female Folio. If you have not downloaded it and read it, you need to do so because the interviews are just amazing. But that's a separate conversation. So you're this woman that's blazing on all fronts. You're doing these great things in Calgary. You're known and recognized all over the world. How did you get here? Let's start with that. Who are you?
That is a fantastic question. And I keep asking myself, like, really, how did I get here? I remember in 2015, so I started Adedoyin at the point when I was frustrated with my career. I just felt there was more for me to do, and I wasn't really enjoying all the projects we were working on. Oil and gas, being in the oil and gas industry as a project manager is supposed to be a dignifying role. And it was, but I wasn't feeling fulfilled at all. Like, this is not why I'm here. I don't think so. But at the time, I didn't even know what to do. So I just thought, how you're just trying different things and seeing if they will work out. So I was like, you know what, let me try entrepreneurship, since I've tried different roles in my career and I just didn't like them. Let me try entrepreneurship. I've always been a makeup artist since I was in year 3 of university. So let me try makeup artistry. And the only picture that came to my mind at the time was Tara Felajurotoye. Like, if she can build a whole institution around makeup artistry and really create that movement and create that industry in Nigeria, why can't I? So, and then I started. So I really wanted to, continue to be a makeup artist, but then have my product line and have a school where I'm teaching it. And that was really my dream. Like, I practically wanted to copy and paste Tara's dream and just go for it, because I'm like, this is what success means to me, Tara. And I remember that was 2014. I was, I think, about 29. turning 29, and that was when that inspiration started coming as I was getting to a new decade. And that was 2014. So 2015, we relocated from the UK. Then we were in the UK, we relocated from there to Canada. And when we got to Canada, I said, you know what? I am going to focus on this business full time for at least 2 years. If it doesn't work out, I'll go back to my work. You know, I made sure that I was updating all my certifications so that just in case I needed to go back to work. But then in the middle of doing this business for 2 years was when I found purpose. And that's just how I'm gonna put it. I just was still feeling, you know what, I don't think this is still it. I loved what I was doing, but I don't think this is still it. And then I remember I was speaking to a friend who said, oh, there's this group I'm in, you know, we do different things, we read books. So I was like, okay, let me just even join the group because they read books. You know, I just really wanted to improve myself. And then it's Super Working Mom. And the lady had just launched a course called Map Your Life Purpose. It was as if that course was for me. So then it was a 6-week course. Every week we would meet and discuss what we learned, you know, after listening to the video. And I'd never seen a group like that before. It's similar to Immerse, but that was the first time I was being introduced to a personal development platform. And I took it like, you know how you would prepare for your final exams. I did all the worksheets. Everything was it was just speaking to me like, you know, and I started to remember all the things that God had been, you know, saying to me, like unmask, you know, the unmask your beauty had been coming to my mind, but I didn't know what that meant. I'm like, unmask your beauty. I'm even masking people's faces with makeup. It didn't make sense to me, you know, and I was at that point, it started to make sense to me, like, okay, unmask your beauty, help women really, really reveal the truth of who they are. Okay. And then I remember it was at that same time, I was also praying and just, you know, staying away from social media and a lot of things. And I heard God vividly saying, you know what, at this point, I had launched my product. So to tell you that I had started to work on the dream I had to be another Tara, right? And I had, you know, I had launched the product and I still didn't feel like, I still didn't feel complete within me. Even though people were hailing me, doing within a year of coming to Canada, you launch products. And I'm like, well, it is what it is. But at the time when I started doing the course Map Your Life Purpose, and it was a spiritual program, so I was praying a lot as well. And that was the time I heard vividly that, you know what, I want you to help women to connect to the truth of who they truly are. And it was as if I had never heard it before. I'm an affirmation girl. I write it all the time. I'm beautiful, I'm unique. And then I just started writing, okay, what do you mean the truth of who women are? And then I just sat down and started writing. A woman is unique. I am unique. I am beautiful. I'm magnificent. I am courageous. Inner truth. Unmask your beauty. And I just started writing and writing. And I remember I wrote 72 names and stopped. And God said, change the name of your lipsticks to that. And at that point, I was like, what? Change the names of my lipstick. At that time, my lipsticks were like Scandalous, Red, you know, just regular. In fact, I think I just Googled names of lipsticks from MAC and anything that looks like my shade. Like it wasn't I didn't put any thought in creating the brand at the beginning. But at this point, it started becoming meaningful to even me. And that just changed the trajectory, Bodam. That changed my entire business model. It changed my marketing strategy, changed my sales strategy, changed my branding. It changed everything. At that point, it was as if God was telling me, Doing, this is not mainstream. I know you're trying, because then I used to check what's Sephora doing, what's MAC doing, and all the other businesses that are well established in Canada that similar to what I do. And it was very, that spirit wasn't good. It was an unsettling spirit where you're constantly checking, you don't have a direction, right? Even though I'd gone to like a mini business school here where we had this pretty business plan that I did not even know how to execute. And, it was at that point things got very clear to me that, okay, you are in beauty, but you are not mainstream. It was big for me. It was really big because I had to, at that point, I was asking God, why am I even doing makeup? Like, God, I'm an engineer. I have PMP. I had worked in the IT industry. I have all the certifications. There was a time I went to India when I was younger. I had all the certifications. I've got all of these experiences. Why am I doing makeup? Right? And by the time I hit that point, I was sure why God put the interest of makeup into in my mind. Because why should I be doing makeup? Really? Even a lot of my high school friends were like, don't you? Oh, I thought when they met me after, some of them that I met in Canada, don't you? I thought you'd be a doctor or why are you doing makeup? Like that was the question. And I had to ask myself, why am I doing makeup? By the time I was clear that it was beyond makeup, it's not, I sent you into this industry to connect with women. Women always want makeup, lipstick. Any event I do, you see women, ooh, they just want to relax and have fun. That is your connection point. Once you connect with them, you now need to bring them in and help them unmask their beauty. Once I was clear with that, oh my goodness, it was as if I was high on something, Buddha. Like a lot of my friends were looking at me like, don't you do this for 1 year and go back to work?
Yeah.
And then people kept asking me, and I'm like, this is a dream. It's not makeup. It's a dream. Can't you see? And some people that I couldn't even tell, maybe like 3 years down the line, they're like, Doing is not a makeup artist. She's not a makeup artist. She's helping us. She's empowering us. She's helping us build our lives. She's not. Oh my God, Joy, I just heard you went to speak at this place, and I heard it on YouTube, and I was like, Joy isn't a makeup artist, right? So it's like how God just chooses you and puts you in a place where it's like a kind of disguise, where people are thinking, oh yeah, we're just coming to paint, and just mask all the pains that we're going through. And as I'm doing the makeup, we're going through layers and layers and layers of you. The kind of conversations we have at the store, things that people will go like, don't you have, I've actually never opened up to anybody like this before. We are just doing makeup. Well, I know why I'm sent, right? So you won't come here and will just be fluffing away and be talking nonsense. It's big deal for me. The 1 hour I'm spending with you where you're paying $100, it's big deal for me, and it was such a huge dream. By the time I saw that, I wrote down, I have to write a book about this encounter. I have to have a community. And everything looked big. I need to have a magazine. I wrote all of these things. And you know how it is with vision. It's step by step. You're not going to do everything at a time. But then if you're not careful, you can get overwhelmed and completely shut down. There were points where I'm like, am I running crazy? Like, let me just focus on this makeup. I do makeup and time gele. I'm there saying I want to.
Oh my goodness.
But gradually and gradually and gradually, things started falling in place. And I just feel there are times and seasons for everything. I remember in 2017, I really, really wanted to write my book. I remember in 2017, I really wanted to write my book, and I just really struggled to write the book. In the mornings, I set aside 2 hours a day, and I was just like, how do you even write a book? I just canceled the project. I moved on. But when the time is right and you are ready, your teacher comes into your life. And that was during when we had the first lockdown. I was like, okay, the lockdown did not affect me in my mind. There was lockdown, physical lockdown of the stores. And I'm like, yes, I have products. I'm going to push this product online. But then what else can I be doing with my time? Maybe this is the time to write my book. And that is what vision does. With vision, you can't be idle. Every time, there's always something to do. In fact, you are struggling with time to make it work, right? There's always something you can do. And within 3 months, I had the manuscript of my book ready. At that point, I was like, okay, Doyin, you've tried to write this book for 2 years and it didn't work. So what are you going to do? I just reached out to DDK, who is our coach, by the way. And thank goodness she had my time. She had space. I was like, it was just the perfect time. Within 3 months, like till date, I'm like, how am I an author? I still look at the book and I'm like, did I write it? Because naturally, I don't like to write. I prefer to talk. It's just not my thing. I don't blog. I don't do, those are not things I've done in my past life or that I'm doing presently. But then I wrote the book, and the book was important. So what writing a book does for you is that it helps you streamline your thoughts. Unmask Your Beauty can mean different things, empower women, but how do you really do? What has your own experience been like? And how are you going to create a framework for women to use your own experience? Because a lot of women started looking up to me like, okay, it's as if she has something good going on. And when people start to look up to you, you owe them, really. You really owe them to be able to break down the knowledge and the wisdom you have, so that they're not just clutching around and you're just high up there and everybody's just below watching you. You want to bring people up. And to be honest, if I did not write that book, there was no way I would have been able to have a structured program that would really help people. So when I wrote the Unmask Your Beauty book, I had to break down my own thought, like, how did I get here? And when I finished writing the book, automatically I was able to open up my community. And the first course we do in the community is the UIB. I call it Unmask Your Beauty. So it's UIB foundational course. And we go through the book step by step. And we go through all of those questions just to really know who you are. Where are you coming from? And where are you? And where do you want to go? But who you are powers what you do. So do you want to know who you are first? How do you know who you are? And I came up with this acronym of, your genuine passion, those things that God is laying in your heart. Like what? There was no reason I should be in makeup artistry, because even my family, if you see my mom is not a makeup person. My dad loves to party and he loves to have fun, but he's a man, right? I have sisters that don't wear makeup. They don't. So I'm not from this family where everybody's just paying. No, I'm not. So there is a reason. If God is putting something in your heart, maybe he's pulling you into an industry. It could be photography. It could be anything. It could be a fashion. Like Bodam. I mean, I'm sure she did not grow up thinking, oh, I want to be a beauty pageant, or I want to, she found herself there. She found herself desiring it. She applied, she got in. And then now she's like, you know what? I could groom women. I could groom women on etiquettes. This is something. So there's something that would just be pulling you. I mean, if I had seen all these beauty pageant things when I was in university or whenever, I can push my friends to it, but I wouldn't go for it. I'm like, no, I'm not interested. So there are things that will be pulling you. And if they are pulling, for me, it was makeup artistry had been pulling me since high school. And I remember even when I was in SS1, which is like grade 10 here, I was telling a friend, and at that time, I was like the best in my class, best in math, best in physics, best in everything. And I was telling a friend that once we finish SS3, the first thing I'm going to do is wear a red lipstick and do a photo shoot. And she was looking at me like, this doing that is a gift. That she will do math now, she will get 100%. What are we talking about? Which red lipstick?
What do you know about lipstick?
I'm telling you. But at that point, those were the things that were filling my imagination. Like I just attributed makeup to confidence, really. And this theme of confidence had always been in my mind. Like, how can I, just show up as a confident woman? And then by the time I started doing makeup, I was like, makeup is not enough. And this other part, where God is telling me to help women unmask their beauty, is what will truly give you the confidence. Even if I had $500,000 or $1 million to invest in my business, it still does not translate to the confidence that I have right now. That I know who I am. I know why God has placed me on this earth, and I'm going to deliver purpose. I'm going to deliver His kingdom agenda through the platforms He has given me. Oh. And this business, it opened up different sides of me. I always knew I could speak, because when I do presentations, when I was in the oil and gas industry, all of my bosses would go, wow, like, wow. Okay, maybe because of your engineering background, you're able to bring it into project management. And so you understand the projects. So that, like, I'm able to really do good presentation. So I knew, but I never knew I could speak. Like, you know how Michelle Obama will show up and speak and be inspirational, Barack. And I never knew until I started undergoing personal development. And I started seeing people and I'm like, I could speak like this. And I started to really grow myself, develop myself. And if you give me a topic now, just give me some time. I just need to sit down and by the time I leave the stage, people will go, that was inspirational. Oh, thank you so much. I never knew, like I never saw myself in this space, even as at 7 years ago.
Adedoyin, honestly, you're blowing my mind because you said you've gone so deep and said so many things in this, just in this introduction. I mean, and I'm going to delve a bit deeper into some of the things you said. Earlier on, you mentioned that some people didn't understand. They're like, this is just makeup. It's just, you do it for a year and you get over it. And that's, especially when you're used to having the support of people. You're in the oil and gas industry. First of all, that's a lot of money. I don't know what you're saying over here. That's a lot of money. And so there's that. And then you're telling people, you know what, I don't really like my job. And I'm sure in their minds, they're thinking, what are you saying? You're earning a lot of money. How did you, let that vision that you had seen, how did you take it such that you ran with it without looking at the obstacles? You were able to, sort of silence the dissenting voices of all the other people saying, you'll give up after a year. Don't worry, we give you 6 months, or it's just makeup. It's not prestigious enough for someone of your caliber. How did you shut out all of that and go after what you'd seen?
Bodam, there is vision and there is compelling vision.
Hey,
I learned
okay.
I learned that from DDK because I've always been fascinated by the idea of vision parties, and all those things like that. You can easily copy and paste, I want to be like Tara. And I think that's the kind of idea, that was the kind of vision I had when I was starting out, right? I want to be like Tara, paste Tara's picture on a vision board. I want to travel the world, paste somebody just chilling on the beach, put it. That is a vision in the literal sense. But when you have a compelling vision, when you are sure that this is the reason that you are placed on earth, and you've seen different things, you've seen different scenarios, based on how you grew up, your life, you've been able to ask yourself those very critical questions where you've looked back into your life, you've looked at even things that people say you do well, like how you connect with people. You've looked at all of those things and you're looking at the vision that God has placed in front of you. And you're like, you are the woman for this job. So it takes you to catch a compelling vision. Once you catch it, it's crystal clear in your mind. Nobody can tell me otherwise. And I'm telling you this because even my husband just felt, oh, she wants to have time for the kids. That's why she wants to, she wants to have more time for the kids, because I was really, really busy when I was working full time. Or maybe she wants to have more time for the kids. It was even happy. It was like, oh yeah, and that's better for us. You can just do your business. So he didn't know. And by the time things started falling in place, I started having all these encounters, and he said it himself that, wow, I think your business is working because you have maximized your why. Motivational, it does not even, if you ask him what's his why, you say, my why is to take care of my family. He does not know. He doesn't care about it, like he doesn't care about all these things. But then he has seen the way I've run the business. Sincerely, it's tough to run a business like this here. And why it's tough is I didn't grow up here. We came here in 2015, exactly, almost like just over 6 years ago. And I met people here. People have been here 40 years, like Blacks, and still struggling. Like a lot of them just, get a job and just sit there, but they know they have something bigger they probably want to do, but they're not sure how to go about it, right? So it's tough to be successful.
Yes.
Doing something like who are you saying you want to create makeup products, even though they're made in Canada? If they just who cares? There's MAC, there's Sephora, go into the mall, there's shoppers, there's tons of, who cares about your lipstick? But because this lipstick is tied to a compelling vision, then people start to care. I remember last year, a lady that I spoke on a platform paid me, said thank you. After sharing my story on that platform, just called me to say, we are awarding 100 women of inspiration. And I thought, what can we give them? I think your lipsticks that have those names on them are the ones that I want to give them. Bodam, they sell lipstick in Walmart for $2. My lipstick is $4. They sell lipstick at, if you're not doing Walmart, you can do Sephora, just Sephora, or even Chanel lipsticks, right? You can do all of those. But it's like, I've heard your story. I've connected to who you are. I've connected to that vision. Those lipsticks, as long as they have those names and they are Donya, we want them. And she ordered 100. So that's why I'm like, God is the owner of this business. It's not about, I'm not going to be running helter skelter. They said we should fill form if you want to enter Sephora. They said low loss is taking. They said, like, I'm just going to take it one step at a time and ask God, where are you taking us? I tell people I'm not a regular, because people come to me a lot for their businesses. They want to start business. I have lots of resources when it comes to, knowing people and connecting with people. I'm really good at that. So people come to me a lot, and I'm like, I'm not your typical business coach. I'm going to tell you to go and figure out your life purpose and tie it around your business, because that's what I know and it has worked for me. I would not be living any other life right now, the life I'm living right now. I don't miss my previous jobs. Yes, did I go through a point where money wasn't coming in or where we were not making enough money to even cover overhead? Yes. But when you just have this vision that I know where God is taking me and I'm just going to stick to this process. And before you know it, even a January that is supposed to be a dead month, everybody just says it that, January is slow. January is not slow again for us at Adedoyin. Because there are things lined up, there are projects lined up, and people just come in, and people just want Adedoyin. And I'm not saying everybody wants Adedoyin. Some people are like, what are they doing? But your crowd will locate you, your tribe will locate you. There are people that have spoken to me, have said, Doyin, I just really want to know you. I just really want to be in your circle because of who you are. I've had people say, it doesn't necessarily mean you're the best makeup artist in Calgary, but I want you. So, and this takes me to, please quit competition.
Okay, now.
Well, damn, if you know who you are, nobody can be like you. Like, you are unique. So when they start to say, what's your USP is you, period. Ooh. Your unique selling point is you, period. What happens when you discover your purpose is you start to get very creative, just like God. You start to become a creator. You start to get creative. Now, I'm not talking about people that call themselves creatives or I do social media. No, I'm like, everybody is a creative if you really, really connect to God. You start to get creative. So you leave that competitive lane and enter that creative lane where you're just coming up with things and people are wondering, wow, when people are really busy scrolling through Instagram to see, this is what this person is doing, let me quickly do it. You are creating. And that is what happens. You get creative. Because when God has shown you, this is what I want you to do for women, there's so many ways you can do them for women. I was clear. Makeup is the entry point. Some people just want to do their makeup and take photo and go. That is the entry point. They've entered my email list. Whether you buy the foundation, you buy lipstick, or you come to do, you've entered my email list. I'm sorry. If you don't like what I'm putting out, you can remove yourself. Right? And that's it. And people get hooked. People get hooked. Like, what? You mean I can have this type of peace in my life? When you're living a peaceful life where you are affecting everybody, you are influencing everybody in your sphere, your environment. I'm influencing my husband, I'm influencing my kids, My kids hear something, they're like, that's the kind of thing mommy would say. Oh my God, why did I tell mommy this? Mommy's going to start all these motivational things with me now. So they know what to expect. They know it's about the life you're living. And you see them making decisions around those values. So values are not things you just write out. It's your life. It's what you do, how they see you make those decisions. And then your children will take after you. And even your husband, as grown as he is, will start, okay, maybe there's something here.
This is so powerful, Adedoyin, because especially as you've said the thing of you going on this path and your family sort of catching up. And I know a lot of women sort of struggle. They're like, oh, I need to be here for my husband. I need to, be there for my kids. I need to be, and sometimes I think we struggle with what this thing of being there for, we struggle with this idea of being there. Oh, let it not be as if I'm like this, so I can, fully be there for my husband. But, you seem to have a great marriage and, you seem to have a great relationship with your kids. And can you sort of speak to that? How do you manage or navigate your intimacy with your husband and, navigate your parenting with your kids while still going on this path of vision? Are the two not, don't you have to make decisions sometimes to be there or not to be there? How do you navigate the whole thing?
So I always say that there is no one size fits all style to parenting. Also, I mean, I'm on different parenting coaches, like their email lists and things like that. But then there is no one size fits all, and it's not really about the information. It's about really doing it, like really what you do and who you are. So what happened was, I knew that this wasn't the best life that I could live as a person, right? I've always had a good relationship with my husband, but at that point, I knew that when I was nearing 30, I knew that I needed to level up, to change, but I didn't know how to go about it until, I told you I joined the Super Working Mom and just changed everything. By the time I found, okay, this is it. This is what I should be doing. Then I took my business more seriously. I took my family more seriously. I became more productive generally. Instead of just sleeping and waking up and just being grumpy in the morning, you see a young girl that is just up and say, you know what, I need to complete this chapter. I need to do this. So even it motivates, it brings up the motivation level even for the family, right? And are there times where you've had to make some decisions and you're like, you know what, okay, at this time, so you have a vision, right? And you're like, there are things you really want to do around this vision, but maybe this is not the time, right? And God, if this is the time, I need you to send the right people to me to execute this vision. Because left to me, if I'm going to go all out with the way I'm seeing this, then my children would suffer or my family would suffer. And there's some things that I hold really dearly. I love to cook for my family. I don't like to order food. Doesn't mean I don't do it once in a while, but let it be once in a while. I don't want it to be like it's just, and I'm not saying it's bad or good. It's just me, how I want to be present for my family. There are things I don't do at home, and I outsource my cleaning. I outsource different things, but for cooking, I just want to cook for my family.
I see you on Instagram all the time. Yesterday or 2 days ago, I saw, today is fried rice, and I'm thinking this woman is gonna drive me crazy because and the other day I saw it was okra, and I'm thinking, what is this woman? What is her aim, Lord? What is her aim?
So sincerely, there are things like that I just want to do, that I have chosen to do for my family, like dropping my kids in the morning and picking them up. If I don't drop them, my husband does, but I pick them up. There is there are school buses. You can carpool. You can do there are different options, but they're just decisions I made that around is my busy life, not busy, my full life. I don't like to say busy because you can be busy doing nothing. My full life, around is my full life. I want to make out time for them. And you'll be surprised. It's when you're picking them up in the afternoon, they have all of the stories to share, right? So I really feel I connect with them through that. I connect with them through cooking. I hardly clean my house. I get cleaners to clean regularly. I just to surface. So there are battles there are things you want to to do, that your heart is really pulling, and things that your heart is pulling you to do them, because those are the things that will be the connectors for the family. My family is always happy to come home to eat dinner together, right? And there are sacrifices I've just had to make, where I'm like, you know what, I just can't do this. We need to pay for this. We need to outsource this. It's too much. So I think the question should go back to, there are roles that the society believes that women need to take on in the family. But I will tell you that you define those roles. You tell yourself, well, how do you want to be, as a mom, as a nurturer of the family, how do you want to be present for your family? And choose the things that you feel you really love and their connector points, and leave the rest if you can, or delegate the rest. There are things that my husband does around the house as well that I don't even have a clue how it's done. Or on a normal day, it's supposed to be women that should do it, like if I'm going by the community standard. But he does it, and he does it well. I'm like, you do it best, just do it, right? So it's just not confining yourself to societal standards, what the environment is saying, and just really, really ask yourself, what's important to you at this point? What are those values that you want to hold there, and really go all out for it? And with time, even if your family might be wondering, why are we paying for this? Well, with time, they will get to appreciate those things that you do, because you can't kill yourself. There's a lot that is expected of a woman, especially when you have kids, where there's just so much, but you need to decide what you want to do.
I love it. I love it. And what you've just spoken about now will also help this thing of overwhelm, because a lot of women do feel overwhelmed that, when you speak to them, they're like, oh, I can't do much, but I have so much. But sort of what you've just explained now is literally a way of getting out of overwhelm. What are the things that are essential to you that you must do to make yourself present and felt in your family? And what is everything else, and you just find how to work around that. And I think I like what you were talking about earlier around this thing of compelling vision. And you can catch a vision, or you can see something and it's compelling. But between that, catching that compelling vision and beginning to live the life of someone who's caught a compelling vision, something has to happen, isn't it? There's a bit of a journey. And along that journey, not everybody that catches a compelling vision is living the kind of life that you're living. Because I can bet many people, you know how they say that ideas come in, or vision comes in twos, or is it in threes? I can't remember what that thing is, right? Some other person might have thought, oh, it would have been great to do, mask a beat, and it would just have remained an idea floating in the sky there. How do you catch a compelling vision? And most importantly, begin to fan it to life, begin to, set fire underneath it so that it literally consumes you. Then you can start taking those steps. What do you think?
I agree with you, Bodan. So catching a compelling vision is different, and actually executing is different. But there is this thing in between catching it and executing, which is the process of becoming. And really, sincerely, when I saw the vision that God was putting in my heart. So how to catch a compelling vision? It's God that can give you a compelling vision. It's not vision board party. It's not you just seeing someone and saying, I still admire Tara, by the way. And I now started to look at a way of life. So I discovered it was a way of life that was it was a way of life that powered what she was doing, if you get what I mean. Yes. I joined our email list, a website. She does this podcasting. And then I started to listen to her values, what was important. So I follow her a lot. And I've seen that, okay, this is what is powering the results that we're getting. And that's what people don't see. So I'm not saying you shouldn't paste Michelle Obama's picture on, but do you know who she is? Do you know how she has been able to power everything that she's now doing, that you are seeing her on the beach, you're seeing her doing this with her kids, you're seeing her as, taking that front role as a first lady with all the confidence and grace. Do you know what is powering that, right? And I think that's what we need to really pay attention to. So I knew at that point that you cannot just say, okay, yeah, I want to start speaking and I just speak tomorrow, or there's this process of becoming. And that process of becoming, it takes a lot of work. You are reading daily, you are listening to teachers, you're identifying your teachers, you are listening to them, you are sorting out your you're maximizing your time. That was something huge I learned in my personal development journey, like really maximizing my time, um, 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 growing my mind, growing my influence. So it's beyond that product you're selling, or that vision that God is giving you to execute. It's a lot about who you are. So I've seen some people even in my community. I ask them, what's your goal for this quarter? And they're like, I just want to work on myself. And I'm like, that's amazing. That's amazing. I just want to work on myself. I just don't want to read a book. I want to do it. And that's one thing. If I read a book, trust me, I'll pieces that book. We will do it. You will do, if there's something you are learning, you need to put it into practice. Otherwise, it's just a joke, right? So it's really about that process of becoming. And it's for life. You keep becoming, and that's really the bridge between catching a vision and continuously executing them. It's really who you are becoming. And it's from that process that you start to even build your own personal brand, because you just discover that you've read all of these books, you have become this woman. I start to see more possibilities, more things that are possible in your life. You start to really understand the purpose of relationships. You start to understand how to maximize time. You start to understand just different aspects of your life. You start to work on your health. You start to, just different areas of your life start to have more meaning, and you're more intentional about growing all the areas of your life. And that's really the process of becoming. And a lot of people, unfortunately, just want to continue their current lifestyle, and they see this vision and they think it is this woman seeing that vision that would deliver and execute that vision. No, it's not you. It's not you that is on Instagram 247, or you that you're constantly gisting with friends, all sorts of things. That did you see that person? Did you? No. How are you spending your time? What are you spending it on? When I see results from certain people, I know how they have invested time into themselves to bring those type of results out. So when people ask, Donya, how do you do all these things? I'm like, but this is all I do. Like, I don't have time to be gisting. I mean, I have friends that, you can even do small talk and things, but it's not what I spend on. My friends won't call me during the day because they know that this is warfare for doing. This is the time it's all scheduled, right? So there's no time to just be faffing around, or to just be, or people just call you around for things that are not meaningful. People now, so you train people how to work with you and how to treat you, right? So people then know these are the kind of things Doyin loves, and those are the kind of things they bring to me. So I don't know if I've answered your question, but I think really that journey, it's really the becoming process, which is continuous. You just need to keep developing yourself.
I love it. Oh gosh, honestly, I wish I could just keep on speaking to you. Even as you've been speaking, I'm just like, I need to listen to the recording of this again and take my own notes and put my own things into practice. Honestly, this is what I've been doing with all my guests. I'm like, it's like I'm the one taking the first sense of juice. I just want to be here and just having this conversation for almost forever. But thank you. I like to say thank you, because it's been really enlightening. I think you've broken down this huge concept of vision and just living this high-powered life. You've really brought it down quite practically, starting from this whole thing of who are you becoming, and you were just really practical. Teach people how to relate with you. Get off social media, do meaningful things with your life, and just really go after the pursuit of what has been placed in your heart. Explore that journey, which is what I hear of you. And it's a beautiful adventure, because I see you now. You would never have guessed. Well, you have had an inkling, but honestly, you will probably never have guessed. And I think that's the beautiful thing about vision. As you keep on moving in the direction of what you see, more is covered, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And you're like, as at early last year, I didn't know we were going to have a magazine. It was something I dreamt about in 2020. And that was when I was writing my book. So, when you wake up, like, I actually saw myself flipping pages of a magazine. And I'm like, oh, maybe it's all around this book. And last year, by September, I was like, you know what? No, by summer, I was like, we're going to do this magazine. I was so busy in the summer. I didn't have time to even mobilize people. And it was so stressful. But we came out with the magazine, which has now become, like, if you know how people are so proud of the magazine. So this year we're actually doing like an award thing. And those are all things that just been in my mind. I'm like, how do we do that? And I just focus on all the other things. We've been running the Unmasked Beauty Conference for 6 years now, right? Starting from, yeah, I just want women to be empowered. And now every year it has become better and better and better. And it's all just, I look at everything and I'm like, wow. And people are like, Joey, your empire, well done. Don't forget me in this empire you're building. And I'm like, sincerely, I didn't see it as an empire. I'm just saying yes to God. Okay, you want me to do it? Yes, I will do it. You want me to do this? Yes, I will do it. And the thing is, what people don't understand is when you shine your own light, you're giving other people permission to shine their own light. Marianne Williamson said it so well. Like when you shine your own light, you're giving other people permission. Like some people are looking like, can they really do something? And when they see that you're doing it, I know this girl now. It's different when you're seeing someone on TV and like, oh, it's not all these TV people. But when you know the person, I know her. If I can say, I know when we used to play together when we were young. I know her. There's nothing fancy. She's a normal person, and she's doing these things. So that means I can do it too. And that's what really happens. And when you give those people permission to shine their own light, when they shine their own light, they are giving other people permission in their own spaces. And that's how, so it's like that effect where it's just cascading and it's just growing and growing and growing. So you just need to do your part.
Oh gosh, Adedoyin, thank you. I think you've liberated a lot of minds this evening, it's evening my end anyway, but whenever they're going to listen to this, literally, I think you've liberated a lot of people and just brought a lot of light. And you've almost made it seem easy without underestimating the amount of work that needs to go in, because guys, it's work. The process of becoming, I think, before you even execute, that pruning process on its own. And if you speak to, and you know what, I think this is why conversations like this are so important, because like you said, people just see the end goal. People see Michelle Obama in a cute skirt suit or pantsuit, and she's standing on world stages and she's giving these speeches, and they're like, oh, wow. Or they see you on a stage speaking to people, and they're like, wow. But what people don't see is that there was a journey, there was a dark season where no one probably knew who you were, and you were reading and you were developing and growing excellence and building diligence and resilience and all these other skills that is only grown in the dark but comes to light when you finally step up there. People don't see that journey and people don't talk about it enough, isn't it? So thank you for bringing that to light.
Thank you, Bodam. I also love to grant interview sessions because based on the questions, there's some things you may not even have been able to put words to, but because you have to answer the questions, you're able to think on the spot, and so it enlightens the interviewer as well, or is it the interviewee? Yeah. So it's enlightening for me as well, and not just for you or your viewers, but even for me as well. Like, oh, okay, this is why this. Like you're able to just put things in words, things that you've never put in words. So thank you for this opportunity. I'm grateful.
My pleasure, my pleasure. Ladies, I wish we could continue on and on, but I'm going to have to give Adedoyin back the rest of her day because she is really busy. But hey, tune in again next week. I'm going to have another guest for you. Let me have your comments. You can always send me an email. And of course, you can follow Adedoyin on Instagram. Adedoyin, what's your email? What's your Instagram handle?
So it's Adedoyin Omotara, and then I have Adonia Beauty on Instagram. But if you follow Adedoyin Omotara, you see all my handles, all my other handles. Yeah.
Awesome. So in the caption section of the video, as well as the caption section of the podcast, I will put her Instagram handles on there so that you can follow her and just let her know how much we love her. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen, for tuning in, for listening. Adedoyin, thank you so much for your time. We will speak again soon. I will see you on the next episode. And until then, stay safe and remain beautiful. Bye.